I think he's just throwing that out there to say, look, I'm concerned about Russian meddling. And by the way, they want to elect Democrats because I have a strong record on Russia. So
However, there is a record here in the current record. If you look at the number of sanctions, not what the tweeting or what the claims are, you go down the checklist. Access to
when Donald Trump won the election. They
that's
didn't
true.
care about, like, the Obama administration ignored what they were doing. They ignored the intelligence. They made fun of Mitt Romney.
The 80s just called, they want your policy back.
The whole media complex made fun of Mitt Romney for even bringing it up as a threat. So it's interesting now that they all of a sudden care about it.
What we got from President Obama, remember, after it was revealed that the Russians were trying to interfere in the election.
The president keeps getting in his own way on this. I mean, talking about trolling, he himself gets trolled by the fact that one day he says, good cop, bad cop.
In the interview with Tucker Carlson last week, Donald Trump basically said, why would we go to war over Montenegro? That cuts so fundamentally at the heart of why NATO's around, and that is music to Putin's ears. I don't think Putin thinks Donald Trump is going to have a strategy in place to counter that, because we've heard reports that he doesn't.
The Pentagon is now in charge.
Well, they did roll out a strategy last week.
Well, they moved Cyber Command under the Pentagon into an active command about.
Here we are now with them moving things around, but until, as Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the administration have said, until there is verifiable denuclearization permanently, which means we are going to have to go in and inspect the entire
plan.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask Marie, we saw at the UN, I think it was last week, when Nikki Haley was standing with Mike Pompeo, and they were basically blasting China and Russia and saying, hey, look, you guys are doing ship-to-ship petroleum transfer, and you're getting refined fuel in.
Destroy this facility. We need to get inspectors in there and actually see what happened. I think that would be a good start. And if that happened, that is a good start. But fundamentally, we still have heard reports that Pompeo's and State Department meetings with the North Koreans have sort of flatlined.
Totally.
And that they're just sort of taking messages back to Pyongyang and not really negotiating over the nuts and bolts.
Remains back, which is a basic starting point.
And by the way, this is not linear.
That's right.
An important part of this strategy, it's not a linear strategy. First you do this, then we do that. Denuclearization
has been, it seems like Rudy Giuliani is really focused on negotiating publicly for terms of a private interview, and I think that's a press strategy. Prove he already has a number of guilty pleas and dozens of indictments.
None of them related to Russia collusion.
Some are related to Russia.
Wait,
but Katie, I'll think about this. And look, if the president just tells the truth, shouldn't that be enough?
Well, I think it's a lot more complicated than that. As Dagen was saying, there's a lot that we don't know. I find Paul Manafort's upcoming trial really interesting. I think we're going to find out a lot about Democrat lobbyists in Washington, D.C., like Tony Podesta, that we didn't know about before. I think that Mueller's going after more people than we actually know about. There's been rumors of special treatment that he's been giving to Democrats rather than Republicans. But for the president, publicly, they've actually been very successful over the last year of turning public opinion constitutionally that the president may not have an obligation.
The plenary powers of the president and what he has the right to do.
There's still a lot to go through here, but I'm sure Rudy Giuliani knows that he should not have the president sit down voluntarily, because that could lead to all kinds of other problems.
I think Rudy's flowed in this.
This is far from over. We will keep watching it.
Very true.
We are also watching, because we are awaiting President Trump in Kansas City, Missouri, where he will give remarks at the
Trump vote for Obama.
So I think the Democratic Party that I love and am a part of has a serious internal conversation we need to have about 2020 and who we nominate and how we can win. And if you look at Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, I mean, these were not, I know